Thanks a lot. I think it's a perfect segue from the previous talk. It ended by saying finance revolution. I think there's some interesting movement that's happening on the Bitcoin side, and I would like to kind of explore that with you guys today. So a little bit has been covered from LN5 already, but I think I would like to kind of say the quiet part out loud through this kind of talk today. So the title of my talk is Future of Stablecoins is Only on Bitcoin L2s. I'm stretching it a little bit. There is currently no, I would say, volume of any significant volume of stablecoins yet on Bitcoin. But I think, like I said, I'm going to kind of talk about the quiet part out loud. Let's look at the undercurrents that we are witnessing in the space. Just a quick background. I've been almost like 12 years in the space, so I've had the opportunity to see a lot of epochs go by. And I think a lot of these technologies that I'm currently seeing and work on were not there as well when I started in the Bitcoin space. So it is a testimony that there's a lot going on in the Bitcoin space. And if any of you kind of have not known, I mean, I just want to flash these words should stick around with you after this talk so that you can go and actually look this up. And no financial advice. It's just my point of view. None of this represents my employer as well. So I work for a Swiss bank. Just want to let you know up front. So let's start by having a little bit of fun quickly as well. So people did talk about Tether. Bitfinex was also here. This is Paolo, this current CEO of Tether. So he says in the long term, I don't believe there is a future for USDT. This is himself claiming. You can go and check. He says, I expect a financial reset where all national currencies will collapse and experience hyperinflation. And he's basically saying in a long enough time horizon, Bitcoin is the stable coin. So one of the most interesting aspects of stable coins is that it's stable and it is an antithesis to the whole Bitcoin volatility argument that we make. But when Bitcoin adoption hits really high, Bitcoin becomes the stable coin. So the meme and the joke here is look at me, Bitcoin says, I'm the real stable coin now. So keep this in mind. This is very important throughout the talk. I just want to kind of stretch this a little bit, just so that you realize that what role will stablecoins essentially play in the long run. Stablecoins is a bridge to a world of hyper-Bitcoinization. So keep that in your mind and this meme. This will be really helpful. And he said this in he said this in April 2025. So it's as good as like a few months back. I just want to point out that. The second meme here is Tether uses our chain. Stablecoins are a big thing. So there are these all other chains that are like really proud. And I think they've done a fantastic job of innovating the category of stablecoins. Whichever chains today do that, we'll also look at what are those top 3 chains that support stablecoins today. But I think Paolo also says this quite a bit from Tether's space, that Tether is a Bitcoin company, and they actually mean it. So they plow in a good significant portion of their profits back into Bitcoin. So you should continuously also track why are they reinvesting all their profits back into Bitcoin. This is very important to kind of, so you look at the holdings. I think they just announced a number yesterday. So they've done another round of buy as well. But this number is 31st March. So there is something there. I just want to kind of highlight that. So how lucrative is the business of stablecoins? Why am I talking about stablecoins? This is a Lightning2049. Am I trying to become a Trojan from the other chains? No, I've been a Bitcoiner sort of all my life, and I don't understand much as well. So I've been trying to unpack the stablecoins thing in the last 2 years. I've done a couple of talks beforehand, before this as well. And I think first we need to understand that a lot of challenges in the crypto side of the world is we build technology, but we don't know where the demand is. We don't know where the market is. And I think stablecoins is a clear-cut winner in terms of defining demand in the market. And I think this is just like some sampling of the kind of demand. So if you do 1 to 2% of global cross-border payments, you reach a size of 2 to 4 trillion. That's humongous, right? And then you also, there is all these companies now that are starting to now issue stable coins, USDT, Athena, MUSD, PayUSD, PayPal. All of them are trying to do so. And they're trying to go after stable coins. So Why are they going all after stablecoins? Because it is big demand. People need a stable currency beyond, like we're all privileged. We all come from countries like the developed world. So we don't really understand what unstable or inflationary currencies are. And I think that's where the problem lies. So that is why in this context, you would see these interesting 3 announcements. Just observe. So Tether says they are, so I just wanted to highlight before we also, if nobody knows, Tether did $13 billion profit last year on the business of stable coins. $13 billion, not revenue, not TVL, profit. Take home, after tax, profit. $13 billion. It's one of the biggest players in the financial markets, bigger than BlackRock. You know how many people are doing this? 30. 30 people. So that's what I'm talking. So this is coming from them. So I'm going to show you 3 slides, what Tether is trying to do, and now starts the real kind of discussion after this setting. So Tether launches USDT on Taproot Assets. This is an announcement on 30th of January. Right? I'll just come back to this again quickly. The second announcement is on 24th April. If you've heard about ARK, that's another L2 on top of Bitcoin. So first was the Lightning, Taproot Assets. The second one is ARK. Again, Tether launches USDT on the BTC ARK network using Taproot Assets. I have the Twitter links here. So these are not AI generated, they are real. You can go and check back, you will find them. Third one, Tether launches USDT via RGB protocol. We've already seen the talks from Swap as well. And Tether is doing that as well. So there is, for some reason, Tether is starting to diversify beyond the current chains that they are. I think that's the core message I want to drive here today, that if you're an entrepreneur or a developer or an ecosystem player, you must go and actually start exploring what's happening to the Bitcoin space. It is the start of a financial revolution. And I think one of the biggest players is backing multiple L2s to allow asset issuance. Asset issuance on top of Bitcoin, which is what we've heard for Taproot Assets. But now RGB has also come along. There is also ARK that I kind of showed you here. So you are having these multiple options to start to do stuff. And that's where I think the morning talk made a lot of sense. With LN5 also, shout out to Darius, right? He kind of said that they're able to do a hybrid Lightning node that works on all top of these different kind of L2s. So I think that's a very interesting space where it is going. The quiet part out loud is that Bitcoin will become the asset issuance layer in the longer run. And I'll shortly come to why I'm saying that. So why stablecoins super interesting? That's the tip of the iceberg. Once you're able to do stablecoins, there is this whole class of tokenized assets that can also be done then. Stablecoins is the proof of concept for a financialized market on top of Bitcoin. If that gets taken care of, there's a clear segue. Whatever chain ends up doing that will end up winning this, right? And why will somebody still do? So I just want to highlight this ability. So this goes back to 1971. The dollar bill was paper gold. The idea of a dollar bill is I go to Fed and I say, here is my dollar bill, give me the equivalent amount of gold back. So it was a receipt for the gold. That's what a dollar bill was, right? 1971, that's no longer true. It doesn't happen after that. You go to the central bank and you give the dollar, they don't give you the equivalent gold back, right? So what is interesting about this is the atomic swap that you've been hearing since morning. If you have a stable coin issued on Bitcoin, on top of Taproot Assets, on top of Liquid, on top of ARK, right, RGB, you essentially can have this ability to swap it with Bitcoin. Natively, with some in trustless fashion and some in a federated fashion. That's what the market is going to go for. The ability to liquidate my stable coins 1 a.m. on a Sunday night in a trustless manner is what the market is trying to go for. And that's exactly why I don't need to talk about how to bootstrap another chain. So every chain that tries to issue, there are quite a few announcements done by Stripe, by PayPal. They're all trying to bootstrap new stablecoin chains as well. I'll tell you the problem. They're trying to reinvent the problem that Bitcoin already solved for at layer 1, which is trying to bootstrap a peer-to-peer problem of saying that this is secure chain. Bitcoin solves for that already. So the most important part here is that you actually go and actually start using the L2s. And you will have this fundamental ability to do atomic swaps with BTC, with the hardest asset. That's what 1971 was. Take your paper receipt, which is a dollar bill, which is an old stable coin in the old firm, give it to the Fed, they will give you back the gold, the hardest money back then. And that's where the atomic swap ability with Bitcoin will become a fundamental game changer, because you need a stablecoin backed by the right one. And this is where stablecoins is the first use case for tokenization and asset issuance. So you have RGB, you have Liquid, you also have ARC, where they're all doing this. So we covered this, but just to let you know, like stablecoins market is solving for all the traditional industry TradFi, which is not solved for, and that's how big it is for to go, So the real question is, which is what I started out with, is stablecoins the real, or asset issuance, the next Trojan horse strategy of Bitcoin? It is. It will bring an ability to have these atomic swaps with your stablecoins in future, and that's the game changer. But yeah, let's be real. What's the current situation like? Where does the transition happen? Does it even happen? And if you look at the stablecoin share till 2024, this graphic kind of speaks a lot. So there is a whole trading transaction volume of stablecoins. So the most liquid pair out there is USDT, Bitcoin, and that's more than 50% of the volume of the market. 50% of the market volume is Bitcoin, Tether. That's it. So you have to see if Tether starts making these moves in this direction, by actually starting with so many L2s, they will actually have the ability to move the market towards issuance of assets on Bitcoin. But today, Ethereum, Tron, and Solana, these are the three top, I would say, chains where stable coins are issued. And from this is where the fight will begin in terms of doing it. Because I'll tell you, the most important part, eventually if you have a stable coin here, and if you want to atomically swap it in a trustless manner with Bitcoin, you can't. At max, you can do a DEX swap with a WBTC, a wrapped Bitcoin, not the actual one. So everybody trades, makes money to store back in Bitcoin. Because you want to be very sure of the strongest, hardest asset is where you're putting your savings for everything that you do. So everybody's game plan is do whatever crypto you do and then eventually save back in Bitcoin, right? So this atomic swap ability will become the most core feature why a lot of stable coins will move over to Bitcoin. So quickly running by, if I just want to also kind of highlight, like these are like the people behind different L2s. So Taproot Assets is one. Obviously, it's kind of taken, it used to be known as Taro, got relabeled as Taproot Assets, and it's on Lightning Network. So one of the most interesting things is Lightning Network is also playing the interoperable language to enable some of this asset trading and swapping that you're talking about. So I will also compare them quickly later on, just so that, so the second one is RGB. I think that's the story for today quite a bit. So I also wanted to kind of share some of these cryptographers who are very famous and have done incredible work and a force of nature, I would say, kind of changing the financial industry. So Dr. Maxim and Giacomo are like very well known in the Bitcoin industry. And I think one of the most interesting aspects of this RGB is the client-side validation. It kind of allows you to bring that privacy. So I just want to highlight this fundamental difference in how Lightning does it and how RGB does it versus how Liquid would do it. And then obviously Liquid is also, so I was very surprised to also kind of see KaleidSwap showing their support for Liquid as well, which is very interesting because again, today Liquid has around about $4 billion of TVL already on, and they're doing one of the most mature Tether issuances as well. So Liquid is proven, RGB is starting to come about, and Taproot Assets on Lightning is also, you've seen some of these POCs. So there is definitely a message there. these different L2s will become different properties of allowing you to do different capabilities, but stable coins will come on Bitcoin, and they're already coming. There's a lot of technology work already happening here, right? And yeah, I mean, shout out to, I think everybody knows Adam Back. It's the guy on the Satoshi white paper. So they've built Liquid together at a certain point of time, Samson Mao and Adam Back. So this is the most important one. I think this is the crux of the talk. So I just wanted to kind of, so you will read a lot about other stuff, but like the three most important vectors or dimensions on which I would want to compare the three, and it's a bad take. Like honestly, I shouldn't be comparing the three, but I'm just doing it for a mental exercise for us to understand, because there is an interplay between all three as well. So Lightning allows you to talk between all three, which is what the industry is trying to do, but still it gives you a perspective. So when I talk about atomic swaps on BTC, I think what you should look for is trustless versus federated. So what does trustless mean? Again, I'll emphasize here. So you want to swap your stable coins one night without calling up anybody, without getting somebody's permission. That's trustless, doing it without any intermediary. That is possible on Taproot and RGB as per the design. In terms of tool maturity, it will kind of come along. But from Liquid, it's federated. So that means it's mostly designed for institutions or better regulatory capability when it comes to Liquid. Privacy, people talk about privacy a lot, but privacy is also on three different dimensions. So some chains allow you to have a transaction private, but the participants are not. So who transacted, two participants, they might not be private, but the transaction could be private. So that's why I would say participants. Issuance, so if you issued, is that private? How much amount got issued in the first place? Was it a $1 billion stable coins, or was it just like $10 worth of it? You would want to protect the amount as well. So different L2s allow you different kind of privacy, right? And then obviously the transaction volume or the transaction itself, right? So that also is different for different ones. And then the multi-asset issuance. This is super interesting. So in the first place, when you're doing multiple assets, you can also do multiple stable coins together. So maybe I'm not confident on just like USD stablecoin. I want to do a CHF as well, Swiss franc. So I want both stablecoins together in a bag, right? How does that happen on a same wallet? Like that's where this gets really interesting. These technologies of L2s now allow you to do multiple asset issuance as well simultaneously, which is super cool. Yeah. 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 Quick shout out to KaleidoSwap. I think they've proven this already. So this talk already happened. I don't need to cover this, but they actually executed a trustless swap. So yeah. One final comment, right? Why is it so important to emphasize that it will happen on Bitcoin? There is this whole idea of creating bridges that a lot of other chains are talking about, and bridges always leave a position of a security posture where hacks happen. But when you do it natively on Bitcoin, that attack vector goes out. I think I must emphasize that. So this whole unparalleled security will become a feature. So more stable coins issuances happens on other chains, you will start seeing hacks that you would not otherwise on the Bitcoin security model. And I think that's why the second reason beyond the atomic swap, I believe a lot of stable coins will look for it. Will look for a chain like Bitcoin to actually do it. So I always say this, and I think this is a very safe place to say this. Nobody will kill me and shoot me this. I love Ethereum because it's a POC chain. It POC'd stable coins. It won't be able to scale stable coins. If you think stable coins is already scaled, it's not. We're just starting. We're just starting. It's much easier to lose money on a hack, on a new innovation on Ethereum than on Bitcoin. So what Ethereum has gifted is the ability to give a POC, which is stable coins, a fantastic use case for the world to take. But if you believe the scaling will happen on Ethereum or Solana or the other chains, I don't think so. And is exactly what I've been trying to make my point today. So the scaling will shift, and think of Ethereum as the test net for Bitcoin. That's how I like to coin it. So Ethereum is a test net for Bitcoin to test new ideas before they become mature and they move on to Bitcoin. And that's where I think stablecoins will become really big on the Bitcoin network. Again, it's an opinion. I think I've just tried to kind of make that. Yeah, so that's about it. Thanks a lot.